Okay, so it's 2013, a new year, a new set of possibilities. Today what I'm going to show you is a piece of geek treatness that came in the post the other day. This isn't it. This is the old MVS1 board that I tried to fix last year and got so far with it, and in the end, it's not that it's junk. I'm sure I can still rescue this eventually with a bit more work, but what actually happened was I bought a 160 in one car, and that came with an even better MV1C slot. I think this is an MVM1FZ, which is a nice board when it works, but I ended up with I've got it's either a 1B or a 1C slot. I can't remember. It's the one that's horizontal loading, not the vertical loading. Anyway, while I was fixing it, I originally thought that the BIOS chips slot here had corroded and hence wasn't working. I was getting BIOS errors, so I thought maybe they wasn't making a good connection. So I tried to replace this, and I took the old one out using the solder and hand pump method to get the old chip out, and it took forever. And I couldn't quite get one of them out because the ground pin was there's so much grounding that the heat wasn't going into the solder anymore. It was just disappearing into the board. So I just ended up getting very hot bothered and peed off. Fortunately, the next pin along was also ground, so the two pins next to each other were grounded. So all I did was, with the BIOS chip, it was very naughty of me. I don't know if you can see this. I just bridged the two pins together. But that's not a permanent solution, that's just a bit rubbish. So anyway, after a year of sort of tinkering and things like that, my old soldering iron finally gave way, and it died. And it was just one of those simple sort of 20-30 watt ones that you just plug straight into the wall and do your work with. So I bought myself, for this year, a Super Geek Treat, and that is, ta-da, this... it's a sort of low mid-range soldering and desoldering station, so it's all in one unit. So I've got the soldering iron on the left and the desoldering gun on the right. And I've seen a couple of videos of this particular model working. It's a rebadged ZD916. It's a Chinese sort of generic brand, or so I think anyway. But what we're going to do is we're going to fire up the desoldering section and desolder finally this pin and get that hole cleared, and resolder in using the soldering side the brand new socket. So at least that's that done, and maybe it might get me going again. I know what I need to do. This I don't think there's good connections being made with this chip. I think it's a lot to do with the fact, I don't know if you can see, it's not very particularly clear, the board is actually sort of slightly bent on this corner where the sound set is, and I think that's why it doesn't function 100%. You know, you need to keep pressing on it and all that to get it working. But since this is not necessarily a broken board, but kind of a parts board stroke, I thought this would be a good testing bed for my brand new super cool Geek Treat, which I'm very, very proud of. This soldering gun, I've tested it a little bit just to make sure that it works for this video, is awesome. And there are a lot more projects that I've got on the bubble that require me to desolder a lot of parts, and this is going to make light work of that, and I know it is, and I can't wait to get going on it, get cracking on it. So without further ado, here, let's get ourselves a quick demonstration. I'm going to have to put my camera on a tripod, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've got myself set up on the tripod. Let's fire up the desoldering side, and there's a fan on the back of this one, and it generally heats up quite quickly. I've got it set for 325. That seems to be a good temperature for it to work. Just get it fired up, wait for it to heat up, and hopefully it should make light work of this this board that I've got going here. just there's only 40 pins. I've done 2 or 3 just to test out to make sure that the desoldering pump works. And hopefully it should just desolder and pop right off. I think the best thing that I'm happiest about with these with this soldering iron is the soldering iron and the pump, the desoldering pump itself. I've got nice flexible wire, and it's really light, a lot lighter than the other one. And because the flexible wire is light, I'm not being dragged. But the tip, I've got a lot more control over the tip. So, and I've got a few spare tips of this down to a 0.4mm tip as well, so hopefully we get some serious soldering done, desoldering. So, right. So it's just going to overheat for a bit, and then this heat on should switch off, so we know it's ready. So then what we need to just do is get the little needle here and just that, and then we just push this in the end just to clean out the tip, just to make sure we've got a nice clean. So then we just find the board, you can see, we just put it over the end of it, and there we go. It's a big one. Down the other side. I think that was all 40 of them. There's one, just one there that just looks a little bit still. One more, just to be sure. And then we just flip it over, and hopefully with a little bit of. Okay, so after another minute, I just had to solder in one little bit, and then desolder it again, and there you go, and it's come out beautifully. Just one little grab on the end, I think. What's that one? Yep. So now you can see lots of nice holes. Now there's one hole on the very end, this one, which I could never have got out, so let's see if I can get this one out now. Okay, so I may have, when I last did this, I must have done a right pig's ear of it. I don't know if you can see, there's it's still blocked, this hole, and the suction on the soldering gun is good, but it's not that good, and there seems to have been a bit of pin left behind from the first time. So, and it's managed to suck it out just a hair, so I think I can grab it with tweezers. What I'll do is I'll heat up the soldering iron part and melt the solder from the other side, and then pull out the remainder of the pin from that one, and then I should have nice holes like I do have with all the others. Beautifully clean holes, lovely. So ready to solder in the new socket. Okay, so after a little bit of cajoling and working on it, I've managed to clear out all the holes, and now it's time to just pop in the new socket. Just make sure that the little slot's lining up. That should just make sure no pins are bent. Ooh, the pins need a bit of straightening. There you go. Right, so all those pins are there, and obviously I've got the soldering side set up. You can put both on at the same time if you want, so you can work on both, but there's no need to have the desoldering on since we're not desoldering anymore. And let's line this one up. Just get this, and this should make reasonably light work. There you go. That made very much light work of that. Let's just check that. Solder there, it's all there. Just clean that up with a bit of IPA, and job's a good one. One re-socketed, nicely re-socketed motherboard. Lovely.